and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome to a Barça news roundup coming your way today, guys, as we discuss Flick's opening game as the new Barça coach, the behind the closed doors friendly match that took place yesterday, and we must discuss the Vitor Roque situation, which right now is at breaking point, and there are strong opinions that need to be had on that, and we're also going to have the very latest on Nico Williams. Is there any reason to be nervous right now? The wait does go on. We've got to talk about exactly what is going on behind the scenes. It is all on the way. Sit back, get ready, and let's do it. But I would like to start today's video, guys, by showing you something that is quite cool. Well, I believe that it's quite cool because I want to show you these cards here from Topps. And by the way, this is not a sponsorship in today's video. I have bought all of these with my own money, and you've got three different cards here that I want to show you. Lamine Yamal, the record-breaking title at Euro 2024. Lamine Yamal, the young player of the tournament. And I've also got here Nico Williams with his Man of the Match award in the Euro final. These cards are only available for 7 days. They are no longer being printed, and I think they're really, really cool for historic moments. And basically, I bought a whole batch of these, and I'm going to be selling them for less than what they would have been to buy them first hand from the Topps website here. But I've only got so many available. It's first come, first served. And I just wanted to let you know that if you are interested in getting your hands on any of these, you can message me on TalkFCB cards. I will be shipping worldwide, and we can get our hands here on a little piece of history. But indeed, guys, the big news right now here at Barcelona is that the Hansi Flick era, it is underway, and it got off to a really quiet, near silent start, because Barca's first pre-season game here of the summer was actually held behind closed doors here against UE Olot, who play in the Segunda B, and it did end, though, in victory for Hansi Flick's team. Barca won by a 1-0, and that goal was scored by Pablo Torre. He was actually playing with a protective strapping on his hand after he only fractured it a few days ago. He's only recently had surgery on that hand, but he is absolutely desperate here to prove himself to Hansi Flick, and it was a really nice finish from Torre, who played very, very well indeed. But I want to show you the way that Hansi Flick set up his team in yesterday's game. It was actually a 4-2-3-1 setup. I would certainly get used to seeing that from Flick there. Inigo Martinez and Julian Araujo starting in defence, Peña in goal, and then I think it was interesting to see Noah Darvic there as part of that trio in the attacking midfield areas. Also, Tony Fernandes was in there, a really exciting young player. Flick has actually spoken about really being impressed by him, with Vitor Roque leading the line for Barca. That was the team there that started the game. But I want to say, guys, great to see Alejandro Balde back in that team there, making his full return to the field, and apparently he looked really sharp on the left-hand side. Very involved was he, and I'm hoping to see him here go from strength to strength under Hansi Flick. Let's hope that it's going to be a really big and impressive season for Balde. But I want to mention as well, it is said there that Pablo Torre, Marc Casado, and Marc Bernal, who only recently renewed with Barca, they all came on in the second half, and they were some of the standout players of Barca. There was real emphasis there on what we were doing in midfield. Barca apparently completely overpowered a lot in that area, and the media are actually reporting that our opposition yesterday, they were taken aback by the physical level that Barca brought to the game, especially, again, when you're talking about that midfield area. And it's interesting because Olot actually played Girona just last week. There was a 1-1 draw in that game, and they saw, apparently, an enormous difference between Girona and Barca in terms of that physical approach to the game. So really impressive there to see a good few early signs from Hansi Flick's team, and starting with a victory. But we do then have to talk, guys, about the man indeed who was leading the line for Barca in attack. Let's talk about this Roque situation, and in some detail, because first of all, let me just give you the facts on this situation right now, the news that we're hearing in the media, and then we will come on to opinions. Believe me, there needs to be some strong opinions on this right now. Because, okay, Saudi Arabian club Al-Hilal, they have officially approached Barca over the possibility of signing Vitor Roque there. Al-Hilal from Saudi. They are very interested in bringing him in this summer, and they are willing to pay to make that happen. With Al-Hilal reportedly willing to pay more than Barca paid for him, very recently, of course, that we did pay for him, the 30 million fixed amount that we agreed to sign Roque for. There's no word yet on exactly what the final offer is going to be. I think Barca are still waiting for the final proposal to come through, but Barca are kind of expecting here around 40 million euros, that bid to come in from Al-Hilal. So they are trying here to recoup the money they paid for Roque, basically to undo the deal. Because on Barca's side, they would be very open and very willing to do a deal with Al-Hilal. They would actively like to sell Roque this summer. If the money is on the table, they would like to make it happen because it would bring in revenue for the club, it will help with FFP considerably, and it's no secret here that all summer long, they've wanted to shift Roque. They do not count on him for the coming season, and they have wanted him out. But on Roque's side, he's got to decide what to do now. He has to understand the situation. It has been a nightmare time for him at Barca so far. He knows that the club don't count on him. It puts him in a really, really difficult position, especially as a young player. And don't forget before, by the way, his agent has said that a loan is not really what they want. That is not going to happen here. He came early to Barca. He wants to make it here. He doesn't really want to go out on loan. So if Barca don't want him, the agent has said in the past, then you'll have to sell us. But the question now is whether Roque would accept a move to the Saudi Pro League at just 19 years old. But interestingly, he would find himself in quite familiar company in Saudi at Al-Hilal, given that his compatriots and former Barca players, Neymar is already there, and also Malcolm plays there as well. And I think that's incredibly interesting, because I would say this current Roque situation, guys, how similar does it feel to the Malcolm one at Barcelona, whereby a player was brought in, big money was spent, a lot of money was paid, and yet not a single chance was given out, and then immediately cast aside. And I think personally what I would like to say first of all is that I'm really saddened by this whole situation. I have said here since the very beginning, ever since Roque arrived in January and then was never really given a chance, and then we made our minds up immediately on him at the club, this whole deal, this whole situation, it's been so poorly managed by the club. They have to take responsibility for this, by the way. Probably he should never have been signed in a very delicate financial state the club was in, a very turbulent time. What possessed them to spend massive money on an unproven player coming in from Brazil in terms of a striker if you weren't going to bother playing him? And then when you didn't really give him time to even settle in, you want to get rid of him again. He should never have been signed here. Barca had no plan in place. They had no understanding about what this deal meant. And now they're just throwing him out at the first available opportunity. So I am really sad about the way this is handled. I do feel bad for Roque. Of course, it still remains, though, in his own hands, by the way, guys. He has a contract at Barca. We have signed him. We have signed on the dotted line. It's all being done. So he technically could say, well, I'm not leaving. You know, there's nothing really that can be done about that. Of course, right now, he is not registered, though. But I would go further with this. I would actually say here, does Hansi Flick have any say in this at all? Because personally, guys, I'm looking at this right now. I think it's been taken out of his hands. I believe here, we know that before Flick even arrived at Barca, Barca had already made up their mind. They wanted Roque out. They knew that in terms of FFP, in terms there of the financial side, they weren't really willing to keep him. So I think Flick here was told, maybe even on his arrival at the club, well, Roque's already leaving, you know, don't count on him. He's not really going to be staying with us, so don't get too attached, that kind of thing. I don't believe here that Flick has really had a say in this right now. Whether this could change, though, because there's still being talks right now in the media that Roque could still go on the USA tour, that he could still travel to America. Of course, he's still going to have opportunities. He played yesterday in the preseason friendly. He may get more chances to prove his point. You know, say he started bagging in the goals in pre-season, could a chance open up for him? You know, can he still turn this situation around? Can he make Barca sit up and take notice? But I just think right now we're listening to offers, we're looking at what's out there. I think we're thinking about, well, he could help us with Dani Olmo, maybe. That seems to be the feeling of the club right now, looking at other options, looking at other players. And Roque's future, he doesn't have a number, he's not registered. Barca not counting on it. It seems like they feel they made a mistake in signing him. And it's poor planning. It is poor planning, and it is a really sad way to treat a young, exciting talent that came in from Brazil. He'd never played in Europe before. He never really has had a chance in the team, and I do feel for him. I really, really do, guys. This is not the way that we should be conducting business. But football's tough, and especially right now with all the restrictions in place, all the FFP sort of concerns at Barça, it is kind of cutthroat at the moment. It is kind of the situation whereby you move on quickly, you look at different players, you look forward, and we're already going to talk now about Nico Williams. Barça already thinking about, new players that they can bring into the club, and that's just the way the game is right now at the very, very top level. So let's talk about Nico. Let's talk about him. It's an update here on a player that we would love to bring to the club. Now, I want to talk first of all about Unai Simon, the Spain and Athletic Club goalkeeper, somebody, of course, who actually spent a lot of time with Nico Williams this summer. He said it's been a complicated month and a half for him to every day be reading news about him that he himself didn't know, inventing things. He said 90% of the things have been invented. The pressure to which a 22-year-old boy has been subjected to is not easy, and the only fault that he has is to have been one of the best wingers in Europe there. So I think Unai Simon trying to look after Nico Williams, trying to protect him here from the media spotlight. I thought then what he said actually was really, really nice. He said Nico has earned the respect of the athletic dressing room and the Spanish national team one as well. He said nobody is going to say anything about the decision that he makes. It is impossible that we say anything about that. He said we will all be happy with any decision that he makes. Basically implying there that even if he is to leave Athletic, he still has all of their respect. And the feeling in the media right now is that at Athletic Club, they are preparing for Nico Williams' exit. They have accepted that he will be leaving the club this summer, but there were big nerves last night, guys, and I want to talk here about these PSG rumours, because apparently they appeared, out of nowhere. Luis Enrique wants Nico Williams, PSG have got their big money, they stroll in with their massive wallets, and they say, oh, here is 2 times the wages. Apparently they've offered Nico double what Barca would pay. And everybody's thinking, this is panic stations, PSG are here, can Barca compete, all of this kinds of stuff. What I want to say right now, my personal opinion, PSG are irrelevant. Now, I mean that in general, but I also mean in this situation. PSG's interest has no bearing on this Nico Williams deal, because Barca have agreed terms with Nico Williams' agent. Now, the contract is done. They've agreed on the amounts, they've agreed on the wages, they've agreed on the contract length there. Everything has been accepted on Nico's side. The contract, the deal, it's all there. The only thing that we're missing at this point is Nico saying, okay, I have decided I do want to leave Athletic Club this summer, because Barca have drawn up that deal, they've met with his agent, everything is in place ready. All that we are waiting on is the okay from the player. And in my mind, it's either he stays at Athletic Club or he joins Barca. Those are the only 2 options right now. The decision that he's making is all about whether he wants to leave, about whether he wants to leave Athletic behind. We know about the connection that he has with the club, not just about him, it's about his entire family. There's so much respect there for what Athletic Club have done for him, not only in his career, but in his whole life. That is why he's taking the time out. That is why here, day upon day upon day, we're waiting for his answer, but that's because he's taking his time. He's taking a moment just to make sure this is absolutely the right choice. But again, guys, I believe he's made it. I believe he has decided to leave Athletic Club. That might explain why he went back there. Earlier on this week, he went back to Bilbao just for a day or so. He was not there very long. Is it possible that he informed them of their decision? Is it possible that he said maybe a few goodbyes? I believe he has decided to leave, and I believe that he will sign for Barca, because last night as well, he arrived in Marbella, and he's not there alone. He is there with Lamine Yamal on holiday, the 2 of them together. Now, that doesn't mean that he's signed for Barca, but he has clear connections with players here as well. He's always very quick to comment on Barca players' Instagram post. He was there this morning as soon as Alejandro Balde posted there about the match yesterday. Almost at times with Nico, it feels like he's already here. It already feels like he's part of the team. These are his teammates. Of course, they are for Spain as well, but it feels like he's part of this group, and I believe he will join up with Barca. I understand the waiting can be nerve-wracking. I understand here that there's always going to be doubts, especially when it's a big, big deal. But I just think Nico's taking his time. It's a big step. It's a big moment in his career. He's taken a few days of holiday. It's been a long season. It's been a long summer. But I believe that in the end, we will get our man, and we will see Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams in Barca's attack. So those there, guys, are the very latest updates right now when it comes to Barca's all-important transfer window. Please do let me know, guys, your thoughts there on that Vitor Roque situation, on, as well, these Nico Williams developments. So like I say, if you would be interested in getting your hands on some of those special moments from the summer there with Yamal and Nico at the Euros, please do message me at TalkFCB Cards on Instagram. I'll be very happy to help you guys out. Thank you indeed for tuning in here today, watching all of the content right now. I really, really appreciate it, and I will be back soon. But until next time, as always, Vishka, El Barça.